to be here today?
Obviously a very, very proud moment, and I was very excited and felt like I had done something good to get this call up. So yeah, I'm very excited for the future.
What do you think you've been doing so well with the Marlies that kind of warranted this call up?
I mean, we had a good start as a team, and we've been playing good there, and I feel like I've found my pace there and been fairly consistent in my performances, and I think that's a part of it.
Who called you and what did he say?
What's that?
Who called you and what did he say?
Brad called me and just congratulated me and explained the situation, kind of.
How have you adapted to North American ice so easily? I mean, like you hear some goalies have a difficult time in North America getting adapted to the pace of play. Was it a challenge for you at first, or was it fairly easy?
I mean, it's always a difference, you know. But I came here in August very early, so I got a lot of time even before training camp to adapt, and I think that helped. And obviously my size helps a lot. The small ice, it almost makes it easier. Like I can use it more frequently here, I think. So yeah.
How does the size help you use it? Like, is it just the less side to side, or like how? Like...
It's a lot of shots from angles, and the players have generally less pace coming from there because there's less space, and there's a lot of pucks just thrown into the net because of size of the ring too, because that's the only option sometimes. So I feel like just being in position is more gives you an advantage here more than on a bigger rink.
What's it been like actually practicing with the guys here for first practice, and kind of the pace that compared to maybe something else that you might be used to?
Yeah, it was fun. It was really exciting. It obviously is a little more physically harder because I mean everything's a little quicker. But so it was tough practice, but it was very fun.
What kind of advice did you get from Curtis Sanford?
What's that?
What kind of advice did you get from Curtis Sanford?
Today, just don't think too much. Like, just kind of breathe, keep calm, and stay present, and just compete for the puck, basically. Yeah.
I know you face in training camp a lot of these guys shooting, but Austin Matthews and the way some of those guys shoot, how is that different than the AHL?
Hard to describe. I mean, basically quicker, more accurate, and obviously harder because of that. So yeah, it's gonna take a few practices to adapt, I think.
What's the advantage of your height in terms of seeing through guys, especially on the power play?
Yeah, that's obviously one more advantage. I mean, I never really have anyone in front of me that's same size as me, so so that helps a lot. I've had it once or twice, and it was much more difficult then. So I know it's a big advantage, and just important not to get too straight.
Who was the first person that you called after you got called up?
I have my brother and his girlfriend in my apartment already, so
they're here right now.
Yeah, so I met them first and called my dad straight after.
What was that feeling like to share that news?
It was good, yeah. Called my dad and mom after we chatted a little together and spent the night together yesterday. So it's good.
Do you like the Hildeby's nickname, or is there something else you prefer?
I don't really mind. I don't care, to be honest. It works for me.
This obviously happened a lot sooner than you were probably anticipating. What makes you confident that you're ready for this challenge?
I mean, basically, I'm gonna go in here and like take advantage of this opportunity and do everything I've been doing so far this season, because that's obviously worked, and I believe it's important to not overthink stuff and just take it day by day, and not overthink stuff, not do anything too different just because you're here. Like, keep doing what you're doing and just go from there. That's the plan.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was a little bit surprised. Like I came for the game and I got this message. So yeah, I was surprised, but it is what it is. So I need to focus on the next game and be better.
What have you thought of your game overall this season?
I would say I was like struggle a little bit at the start of the season, but I think lately I found my game backs. I think so. Yeah.
Is that why you say you were surprised the other day that you got that news of not playing? Or did you maybe some of the things that happened against Columbus, did you understand? Or how was it?
Yeah, like I said, I was surprised. I didn't expect it, and I came and wanted to be ready for a game, but I got a message from Sheldon that I'm out. So yeah, I was surprised, but it is, like I said, it is what it is, and I want to be ready for the next game.
I was going to say, how do you take this forward now?
Just keep working hard and be better and try to help the team win.
What are your first impressions of Hildeby?
Well, obviously it's not my first impression because he's been with us here and we've been watching him, monitoring closely. So obviously the size stands out. That would be the first and obvious thing when you meet him or you see him on the ice. But the other piece is he's just got great demeanor about him, great attitude, very positive, very nice guy that's eager to work and learn and do all those kind of things. And I would imagine all of those things are the reasons why he's gotten off to such a great start with the Marlies and why, when we need a guy, that he is that guy. So, yeah, credit to him for the work that he's done.
What's your plan for him for the week?
Plan is to just take each day as it comes here and try to get him up to speed at the NHL level. Obviously, NHL shooters and such it's a different animal, as he may have learned when Austin came down and blew one by him there in one of the first drills. Yeah, I think just you want to get comfortable, which is what I saw as the more and more the skate went on. You could really see, that he was getting comfortable in his reads, and obviously the size. A lot of pucks just hit him because of the size, but. Plan is just to get him comfortable here, and my message to him is he's here. He's the second guy right now, and like you would have the message for any guy that's the second guy is your job's to be ready for any opportunity that might come up or anytime we may need you. As we look at our week, and in particular this back-to-back that's coming, we haven't ruled out utilizing Jones in both those games. I think as far as back-to-backs go, it's probably the easiest one you're going to get on the road in terms of not having no flight or anything like that. Instead of busing to the airport, we'll be busing to change hotels. So we'll take it a day at a time in terms of that. But I think it's just him, enjoying his time here and maximizing it, whether that's to be ready for us or to just continue his development.
If Sammy clears, what are your plans for him for the next few days?
Yeah, well, obviously we do have to wait and see on that. And from my perspective, I'm hopeful that he clears and he remains here, and there's a plan in place. If that's the case, that we can continue to work with him. I think it would just really, quite honestly, be a continuation of what's been happening here. But it's just basically removing him from the situation to just focus solely on himself and his game, and then you would take it from there, kind of thing. But from my perspective, he's a good goalie. He's played a lot of good hockey for us, as we all know, and we need to do all that we can to try to get him back. So that would be the plan.
What's your sense of the group as a whole as the calendar turns to a new year, Sheldon? And people talk about optimism beginning of the year, but what's your sense of the group and looking ahead here?
The group feels good. We haven't gotten the results that we want here since coming back, but we felt quite good about a lot of the things we've been doing, and last couple of games in particular on that back-to-back with Columbus and Carolina, I thought that we did a lot of good things and very easily could have had 4 points coming out of that, but wasn't the case, and I think that continues to drive you. But just focus on how we've played. There's been a ton of really good things there. I think when you step away from the results, Columbus, there's a lot of pucks that go in our net, and Carolina, we make some mistakes on special teams on the penalty kill that end up in our net. But 5-on-5, I think two of our best defensive efforts of the season in terms of not giving up very much, and Carolina games, there's not much between the two teams, and you got to really work for your offense. And I think that sets us up well for this trip here to start off in LA, which, you look at Carolina and LA, it's two of the best defensive teams in the NHL. And coming out of that Carolina game, we should know exactly what we're in for in terms of, the challenge that we have going into LA.
John was saying that the Kings do a number of very unique things in terms of how they defend. What do you see from them when you look at how they?
Well, they're 1-3-1 in the neutral zone would be the most unique thing that they do. And they're not the only team in the league to do that, but they've done it longer and probably better than anybody in the league. And then that kind of sets up a lot of their defensive game. But a lot of it too is just a mindset. They close well. They good sticks, similar to Carolina in that way. They just take away your space and your time, and whether that's on their penalty kill or at 5-on-5, they make it really hard to get to their net. So it's going to be a game about working and pace and patience. That's a big part of it. And it was the other night too against Carolina. Obviously we talked about special teams were the difference, but ultimately they're able to get one more goal than us, and that's what I would expect in the next game, is that it to be really, really tight, and we got to find a way to get on the right side of it.
So obviously you come right back with David Kampf in the lineup. What do you hope he takes out of what happened Saturday into this trip and beyond?
Well, just the urgency that we need him to have, in really understanding how important his role is. Not just like it's been here. He's a very, very important player for us, and we need him to really take charge of that role and take charge of his line, and that's really a bit of a reset and recognizing that we're serious about the urgency that we need him to have. And I think he's played good hockey here in the last month or so. But to me, the other night was a bit of a step back towards some of the issues that I was having with him early in the season, which we had talked a number of times about, and given him opportunities to keep going and keep playing through it, which he had. But when some of those same mistakes are showing up and the results for a team aren't there, I think you elicit a response from the coach, and that's kind of the way that it goes. But it does not change how we feel about Kampfer and what he means to our team. He's a very, very important player for us, and made him to be better, and he will be.
Ryan said he's feeling good after being on the ice today. He hopes to be available on this trip. Do you feel he's in a position to get back at some point?
Well, today's his first practice with the team, so it's been a few weeks since he's been able to skate. So I would say he's not quite there yet from my perspective, but I think from a health perspective, he seems to be working his way there. Getting him up to game speed and being ready to play in the game is another thing. But now we'll get out to California, and we don't have any practices until day before San Jose, whatever day that's going to be. So we'll see kind of where he's at that point in time. But from my perspective, he's not where we need him to be at this stage. We need to keep building him up.
How much of an advantage to have a guy like Martin Jones around right now and on this trip in some rinks that he's very familiar with?
Yeah, obviously huge to have him. To have him here and how he's played for us. You look at it, and I think coming into today's practice, we basically had certainly goalie 3 in Marty Jones and probably goalie 5 in Hildeby, who was when we come into training camp. He had Petrozelli was getting a little more time than Hildeby, and he thought he was going to take the year to be a developmental year for him, and now you got those two guys here, and you're counting on them. But to have someone with Jones' experience in the league, to just be calm and confident has really helped our team. Going into familiar buildings, as you mentioned, I hadn't thought of that a great deal, but I think that's again just the value of having the experience, and then on the other side of it, I think having a young guy like Hildeby, and he's an older goaltender than what you would. Than most that come over and play, are playing their first year in the American League, but still has lots to learn and a long ways to go. So for him to come up and in our situation still have a veteran to lean on and to watch and to learn from is very valuable for him as well.